So today we are going to be going over 10 of the strongest winter fragrances that you can purchase. So I've already done my top 10 winter fragrance video. I'm sure you guys have consumed that by now. But if you want a narrowed down list on just some of the best performers out there that really work best in the cold months, the winter time when it's super, super brisk and chilly outside, this is going to be the video for you. So a couple things really quickly here. First of which being that performance is all subjective, all right? From person to person, it's going to vary. And that also means that some of these may not live up to the hour mark that I say it does on my skin on you, and that's completely normal. And that's why I generally don't like to focus too much on 12 hour, 13, 14. It gets to a point of diminishing returns beyond like 12 hours where it's like, okay, how long do you really need it to last? So my criteria here is pretty much 12 hours and above. And again, that's on my personal skin. It's going to vary from person to person, so be aware of that. The other thing is that if I reference pricing, it's going to be through discounters, so make sure you're shopping at the links down below to get these for prices below retail. Make sure you're also checking the community tab and you're signed up for my emailing list where I post deals every day. Just recently, La Nuit de l'Homme Bleu Electrique came into stock, 100 ml testers for $78, and that thing sold out within, I think, 15 minutes of me posting and sending out my email, maybe 20, maybe 30 minutes, somewhere around in there. It was quick. So if you guys want to pick up rare gems like that, you got to be watching the community tab and you got to sign up to the mailing list. With that out of the way, I want to get into it. And we're going to start things off with Invictus Victory. So nice big old 150 ml bottle here. Tonka bean, vanilla, pink pepper, all of that good stuff. Very sweet. Okay, it's no surprise coming from PACO RABANNE. And personally, in my opinion, out of the current in production Invictus flankers, this is the best one. And it really does sway away from the original Invictus and a lot of the other flankers quite a bit, introducing more sweetness rather than, you know, an overwhelming aquatic ambroxan base here. So I like it for that reason. It's a wintertime version, essentially, of Invictus, and it has great performance. It fits that criteria that I mentioned in the beginning of the video. Great stuff, and you can get this one on discounters for usually around $80. Moving along, let's get some Iris in the mix. Valentino UOMO Intense. This is a great performer. So is Dior Homme Intense. So is Gentleman Reserve Privé. There are a lot of great performing Iris scents, but I wasn't going to clog up the video with 3 or 4 of them. We'll just focus on one, and this is the one I chose. So it does have Iris. There is a good dose of leather in here, which is what separates this from the Dior and something like Gentleman Eau de Parfum and Eau de Parfum Reserve Privé and so on. So this is a little bit more of a masculine take on that DNA, but you're still getting the powdery, dusty iris. You're still getting kind of a chocolatey sweetness, but I like the leather accord in here. It's very well suited to this scent, and I think it smells great. And again, performance, it's great. Let's keep it moving with VERSACE EROS PARFUM. So kind of the weird fragrance line where they had the original EROS, which has been out for years, and that was it. It was just EROS, you know, the eau de toilette. And then they kind of broke the ice with the flanker, EROS Flame, right? Or maybe it's the eau de parfum. Actually, I can't even remember which one came first. I think it was Flame. Then we got the eau de parfum, and then the parfum, all within a matter of a few years. And now we'll have to see if they continue to put these out or not. Who really knows? But ultimately, in my opinion, if you're going to be spending the money and you're going to be buying EROS in 2023, yes, 2023, it sounds weird to say, my advice is to spring straight for the Parfum. It's a little bit more expensive, comparatively speaking, on discounters still, because it is the newest and it also is the highest concentrated version. But to me, that extra jump in price is well worth it. Anywhere from $77 to a little bit over $80 for 100 ml. The 77 is testers and the 80 is the full presentation. Testers do come with the cap. Just depends on what you want to get here. But ultimately, it's the best performing EROS in my opinion. It's the most refined. It's the one to get. Okay, next up, we're going to cover the only niche scent in this video. It's from Parfums de Marly, and it's one of the more expensive ones, but to me, it's well worth it. It's Carlisle. So one of my favorites, you know, this, Leighton, Harrod, some of my favorites, all of those do have great performance in common. So, you know, you can kind of just pick your poison, essentially. Take your pick. Most of them all have really good performance. For me, I wanted to throw in Carlisle because when you compare it to something like Leighton, this one gets nowhere near the amount of attention. And it kind of makes sense. It's a little bit more challenging. It's a little bit more niche, so to speak. Has a lot of patchouli, vanilla, tonka bean. There's some warm, spicy nutmeg in here. It actually smells a little bit like Mancera red tobacco, although nowhere near as tobacco-y and oody and strong in the sense of the nose-piercing delivery that red tobacco has. This one's actually a little bit more smooth. It's a little bit more refined and still has some differences. It's not a clone or anything like that. They're not clones of each other. There are also some similarities. This one's a little bit more creamy sweet. I really like Carlisle a lot, and it has amazing performance. I mean, this stuff is strong. Next up, kind of going on the opposite end of the price point here, usually around $40 on discounters. Joop Homme Absolute. It's got ylang ylang, kind of strange, with incense, pepper, a little bit of a tonka bean in here. So a weird mixture of notes, but a really well-balanced scent overall. This doesn't come across as smelling weird or anything like that, despite how it might look to some of you. It really works well. Very spicy from the incense and black pepper combination. Then you're getting a little bit of a dusty sweetness and a slight fresh balance from the ylang ylang. It's a really nice, strong performer that's affordable and unique. Now, this next one's going to be for the gentleman out there. It's PASHA de Cartier Parfum. So pretty much anything from this brand has an upscale, classy smell about it. They usually aren't in the business of putting out youthful and trendy scents because none of them really are trendy. So, to me, this is probably about the best performer, at least of the ones that I own. The Parfum here, it's got fir, it's got rum, or liqueur rather. There's some other sweeter notes going on in here, but with a heavy dose of sandalwood primarily is kind of what's giving it this warm, soft, creamy kind of woody base essentially that everything else is built on. Nice booziness from, again, that liqueur in here. Very mature, very masculine, very grown up, and a great performer coming in, again, at a Parfum concentration. This is the way to go. This one here is also really, really good. 1 Million Lucky by PACO Rabanne. So, PACO Rabanne, they can show up quite often in a video like this talking about strong performers because while they do get a fair amount of hate thrown their way because a lot of their scents are youthful and overwhelmingly sweet and loud, and their bottle presentations, as we've seen, can be a little bit out there, and so some people don't like that and they do kind of throw some hate their way, which is understandable. But at the same time, one thing they do really well is performance and mass-pleasing scents. They have it down to a science. Just about any PACO Rabanne that you can buy nowadays from a retailer discounter, you can spray it on and get compliments and get decent or well above average performance out of it at a minimum. So 1 Million Lucky is no exception here. It's a 12+ hour performer, very strong, and this one actually is a little bit unique. It's got plum, hazelnut, aldehydes, or kind of this ozonic note quality. It's a strange mixture. I think there's even honey in here. It's different, but in a good way. Okay, next up we have Issey Miyake Low Dissy Pour Homme or Incense. So this one's actually going to be a little bit more challenging as well. Going to be a little bit more mature, kind of like PASHA de Cartier Parfum. Not comparing scents, but comparing just the general demographic of who will be going for this. It's going to be going for guys who want something, again, more refined, more mature, more grown up, so to speak. And so that's kind of where this one fits in. Now, it's got incense, of course. There's rose, and to me, a little bit of an oud quality in here. They've got cedar wood and some other things listed off, but to me, it's kind of a incense, rose, oud combination. So because of that, this is not going to be for everybody. But if you are into this sort of thing, it's a great pickup. This one has really nice presentation as well. The box kind of slides out. Not that that matters a whole lot, but you are paying a little bit more for this on discounters, usually around $95, 100 ml. But they kind of make up for it in that quality, that performance category, but also even the presentation. This is a really, really nice one that for the people who like this sort of thing, it's going to be a fantastic hit. And going back to another affordable one here, second to last scent, usually around $35, 30 to 35, I believe. Bentley for Men Absolute. So again, that depends on if you get tester or full presentation. I do believe testers come with caps, and so you can save, $4 or $5 and just still get a cap, but just get a plain white box. Personally, I think that's the way to go. But regardless, it's still affordable either way. Now, this has cedarwood, papyrus, pink pepper, and essentially it's Gucci Pour Homme 1, discontinued classic, right? There's even, to me, I get this off the opening, and I'm even getting it off the dry down. I haven't sprayed this in a while. Just smelling from here, a boozy quality, like a rum, a spiced rum is kind of what I get from this, you know, like a Captain Morgan kind of smell, kind of booziness. And initially when you spray it on and you get that smell, you might be inclined to think that it's like perfumer's alcohol. Like it's not a note, but it's literally the smell of the alcohol of the scent, because it is a little bit more affordable. But I've come to realize that that's not the case. It's not a perfumer's alcohol. I don't get that blast from Bentley for Men, the original, which is the cheapest, or Intense, or Black, or Azure, right? I don't get that from any of them. I don't think that's what it is here. I do think it's actually a boozy accord, even though they don't list it off. At least it's not on Fragrantica. That's kind of a long-winded way to explain that I get a boozy quality out of this as well, whether or not it's listed off. I could be the only one, but regardless, it's a great scent. Very masculine, dry, woody, and spicy, and it has great performance for being a cheapie. I love this stuff. And last up for this video, Spice Bomb Extreme. I threw it in at the end just because it's kind of a given. It's kind of an obvious one, and I'm sure you were expecting to see it at some point. You know, I just figured I would save it to the end, right? I don't want a bunch of people to click off the video because I listed it at the beginning, and it's like, oh, it's going to be a video that's very predictable. I tried to throw in some things that maybe you wouldn't normally decide to reach for or pick up or try, but this is something that most of you probably have already. You know, this has tobacco, it's got vanilla, black pepper. This is one of the best winter fragrances on the designer side for men, in my personal opinion. And if you don't have this one yet, I highly recommend it. Price-wise, usually around 110, 109 for 90 ml. A little bit more expensive, but well worth it. And anytime you can get this one in stock, it's worth picking up if you're looking for it, because around this time of year, when it's cold outside, this one usually sells quick because people are in demand and wanting this one. Great one to have. Alrighty guys, that's going to do it for me. 10 of the strongest, best performing winter fragrances that you can currently buy on the market. At least that's 10 of them. There's more out there, but to narrow it down to a nice digestible amount here, this is what I came up with. Links will be down below. That's going to do it for me. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you tomorrow with another one. Take care.